Hello, my little pretties. Welcome back to another episode of Shadow Tales. And today, in this episode, I will be telling you all a story about Rumpelstiltskin. This story is retold by me, and this original story, was written by the Brothers Grimm. This is episode 16 of Shadow Tales. Hope you enjoy. There was once lived a miller with his daughter. Of course, they lived in a little mill that was not far from a small farm they had. The miller's wife got very sick and died shortly after his daughter was born. When the miller was at work, all day turning the grain into flour, he loved doing nothing more than to think up tall tales to amaze people. One day the king came into town. He heard the miller was talking about his daughter. The miller was saying that his daughter was the most amazing girl in the village, if not all the land. "You there," said the king. "What is so amazing about your daughter?" The father bowed. "Well," he said, "Your Majesty, my daughter is so clever, she could spin straw into gold." "Spin straw into gold?" said the king. "That's amazing. She must come to my palace. I will put her to the test." "But the miller said he wished he had not told the king such thing. But now it was too late. So the miller's daughter had to go to the king's palace at once. The king took her to a room piled with straw from floor to ceiling. He pointed the spinning wheel in the middle of the room, and he said, "Now get to work. If by morning you have not spun straw into gold, you will die." The king slammed the door and locked it behind him. The miller's daughter was all alone. For the life of her, she did not know what to do. She had no idea how to spin straw into gold. "What will I do?" she called out into the air. "No one can do such thing." Just then, an odd little man stood before her. "Did I hear you say no one?" he said. "What?" the girl said in shock. "Where did you come from?" "Never mind that," said the imp. "What matters is I can save your life. With a price, of course." "You can spin straw into gold?" asked the miller's daughter. "What kind of price do you have in mind?" She did not know if she could trust the stranger. "What you must give is important to you," said the imp. "How about the necklace?" he suggested. The girl thought, "Indeed, my necklace is very dear to me, not as much as my freedom." So she said to the imp, "Very well, if by morning you could turn this room of straw into gold, this necklace is yours." The little man got to work. Very busy he was. All night long, whirl, 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 until morning. By then, not a piece of straw was left in the room. All of it was turned into piles of pure gold thread. "You did it," said the girl. "Of course I did," snapped the imp. "Now hand over the necklace." "A deal is a deal," said the miller's daughter. She took off her necklace and gave it to him, and he was gone. When the king stepped into the room the next morning, he was very glad. "Look at that," he said, running the gold through threads in his fingers. "Pure gold." "Yes," said the girl. "If you please, sir, I'd like to go home now." "Not so fast," said the king. "I will have my servants bring a new straw to fill up a larger room than this one. You will stay there for the night. Beware, by morning, all the straw must spun into gold if you care about your life." "But I'm not ready," said the girl. "No buts about it," said the king, and he left, slamming the door behind him, and it locked with a click. "Oh," said the girl, called out, "I was lucky last night. It will not happen again." "Who says?" said the voice. The girl turned around, and before her stood an odd little man again. "I will do this job for you," said the imp, "but you must give me the ring on your finger." "Well, this ring was my mother's," thought the little girl, "but after all, it's just a ring," she said. Then she gave it to the imp. "It's a deal." So the imp spun the straw into gold all night. By the next morning, nothing but piles of spun gold lay on the floor. The girl gave the ring to the imp, and that's what she said she would do. The next morning, the girl felt sure that the king would be so happy he would let her go home. But if 2 rooms of gold look good to the king, 3 rooms of gold look even better. The king took the girl to the biggest room yet, and had already filled the straw. He then told her he must turn the straw into gold by morning or else. By this time, however, the king said to his son that was coming back from his long journey that night, in that morning he would send his son to the room to see if the work was done. If it was, he would marry the prince. The king thought, if she is the miller's daughter, I could not find a better wife for my son. But the king told the girl in a loud booming voice that if she could not do the task, she would marry no one at all, for she would die. When the king left, the girl fell into a deep gloom. How long could this go on? Would she ever get out? When she lifted her head, there was a little man again. I knew you would come back, he said. I could not know for sure, said the girl, but this time I have no longer anything to give you. Well, we will find a good price, the imp said as he started to work. I have nothing left to pay you, though, the miller's daughter said. But the imp did not stop. He worked all night long, even though the girl begged for it. Now I'll tell you my price, said the imp, as soon as the straw was turned into gold. But that's not fair, said the little girl. Lots of things are not fair, said the imp with a shrug. Very well, she sighed. What's your price? Oh, nothing right now, but later, if you become queen, I will take your firstborn child. Of course, the miller's daughter did not think of this at the time, so she agreed to give him her firstborn child. The next morning, the king walked over and saw the whole room was turned into gold. He was surprised. He looked to see that there was a lot of gold in the room. I am very pleased, said the king. Now you will marry my son, he said. As the girls smiled, the miller's daughter was saved, and they were two married as soon as everyone was told, and they celebrate a big wedding. Not long after the wedding, the old king unfortunately died. The prince became king, and the miller's daughter became queen. In time being, the new queen had a baby daughter. Joy filled the palace, and everyone was excited. Until one day, when the queen was alone in a room, all of a sudden, the imp stood before her. Give me what you promised, said the imp, pointing at that baby. I never promised it, said the queen. She held her baby tight. I will give you gold instead, more gold than you ever seen. Why do I need gold? I can make all the gold I want, the little man said. I could give you anything, the queen said. She tried to offer the best prices for the young man, but he wouldn't. Please, is there anything I could do to keep the baby? She asked. Well, the imp said, I'll give you 3 days to guess my true name. If you can guess my true name, you can keep your baby, he said, and no one must not know about this. The queen nodded, and one day the queen wrote a very long list of names she could think of. The first night in the baby's room, the imp appeared before her. Well, he said in a loud voice. The queen wrote down the names of the people she could think of. But the first night she had no luck. The second night, the queen looked through the royal library and found names of faraway places. But she couldn't think of anything else. The second name, the queen ended up telling the little man the names she thought of. But since the second night did not go well. At the third night, the queen did not know what to do. She wished she could tell her husband her worries, but she couldn't without anyone worrying. So one day, she put on a royal cape and hood and walked outside the castle. The queen walked through the forest and saw the young man who was dancing and of course said his name, Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin, said the queen. She knew now what to say. But of course, last night when Rumpelstiltskin appeared, the queen went through the names, but it finally came to her last choice. Is your name Rumpelstiltskin? She asked. Rumpelstiltskin, the imp yelled. How could you know? he was so mad that he stamped his feet so hard, he made a very big hole open on the ground and fell right through it. He was never to be seen again. The queen and even the king were happily together, and they had no problems with anyone. They never even had an issue, or they never seen Rumpelstiltskin ever again. And they live happily ever after. And that, my little pretties, was Rumpelstiltskin. I hope you all enjoyed this video, as this story was originally written by the brothers Grimm. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell for notifications, as I am going to roll the outro, and I'll see you all next time.